Hello, I'm Ken Murphy, Managing Director of GP Connections. Bullying and harassment has been the subject of a lot of media attention over the last few months, few years, and has been resulting in large payouts and compensation claims. But did you realise that under the Work Health and Safety Act, you have a duty to your staff, your employees, your contractors, your visitors, the general public, and your patients to prevent bullying and harassment within the workplace, whether it be on site or when they're out and about. The next few minutes we'll cover some of the policies and procedures and some of the things that you need to take into account to make sure that you're complying with the Act and that you're looking after the health and well-being of all of those that are affected. Thank you.
Workplace health and safety within a professional practice is a very important and major thing that every business needs to take into account and needs to make sure they have appropriate policies and procedures in place. You should make sure that you've given your staff sufficient training to allow them to carry out their duties in a safe manner. You need to have records and be able to prove that you've done appropriate training. Staff should also be aware, and it should be in your employment contracts, disciplinary actions that can be taken if staff fail to comply with health and safety policies and procedures. And you should also mention that serious breaches would result in dismissal. Bullying and harassment is a new entry into the workplace health and safety landscape. Whilst historically they have been present in the workplace and other environments, in the last decade or so, bullying in particular has been recognised as a significant workplace hazard, and is certainly now covered within the Work Health and Safety Act of 2011, when you have to look after the well-being of your staff as well. Within Queensland, the definition of workplace harassment is an alternative term used to described as bullying. So when the reference is made to bullying, it can also be classed as workplace harassment. In other jurisdictions, harassment is distinct from bullying, but certainly in Queensland they are very much the same, and can be directed at either individuals or groups. Bullying and harassment is defined as repeated and unreasonable behaviour directed towards a worker or a group of workers. A single incident on its own isn't necessarily classed as unreasonable behaviour, isn't necessarily classed as workplace bullying, but you should obviously look at it and make sure that it doesn't become a repetitive action. It's also worth noting that the intent isn't a criteria. So just simply doing practical jokes or joking about something as a joke does not exclude that from being a bullying and harassment if it's unreasonable behaviour. Reasonable management action taken in a reasonable way is not considered to be a workplace bullying. It's very important to note that because some managers and staff have been hesitant in taking action. Examples of reasonable management action can include setting reasonable performance goals, not selecting staff for promotions, and termination of employment. Whilst that doesn't stop a claim for unfair dismissal or anything like that, if it's done in a reasonable way, it's certainly not a workplace issue of bullying and harassment. Thank you for listening. This very short video, and as always, GP Connections is very happy to help in assisting you with getting any policies or procedures in place. Thank you.